everybody, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are making a pattern that I've had for quite some time. It's definitely not a new pattern, but it's the first time I've made it, so we're gonna learn together. But it is the Necessary Clutch Wallet. This is what it looks like. And inside it's like an accordion style wallet. And let me tell you, mistakes were made. A lot of them. But you know what? It's okay, because this was only the first time I made it. I used an adorable, let's see if I can get it to focus. An adorable little stitch zipper pull. I want to say those came from Wizardry Stitchery. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's where I got them. The zipper tape, I want to say, was Wonderground fabric, and the vinyl was from Fabric Therapy. I will try and remember to link everything down below for you. I'm not going to sell this one just because there were so many mistakes made on it, and it's licensed characters, which I am not going to be trying to sell licensed characters on my shop. Just not going to take any chances there. But yeah, so let's talk about it. So inside you can see that's just double-sided tape covering up a hole, because the way I made it, I thought I was doing it right in the way I'd seen it, but instead of sewing around the body and leaving an opening in the body, you cut a slit in the lining of the body and turn it through that. Well, for some reason I had it in my head that you cut across, like down and across to turn it out. No, you want to find your centers and put a 6-inch straight across line horizontally across the lining piece for the body, and that's what you turn it through. Well, in my mind, I needed a cross. Don't know where I got that from, but so on the front and the back here, you can see where I taped that hole closed. And then I think I made my zipper too long, because the zipper is supposed to have zipper tabs, but my zipper tabs are down inside there. So like they're like right here. So it's super thick right there. But you know, other than that, oh, I also forgot to top stitch along the card slots, which is not a big deal. This is really thick waterproof canvas, like really stiff. So I'm not worried about that at all. But overall, despite the mistakes, I'm really happy with how this turned out for my first time ever making it. For the side pieces here, I need to probably redo that. But for the side pieces here, I just used rivets because I wasn't sure if like especially here because of how thick that is. Even on my industrial, I don't think that would have gone well. But again, like I said, overall, I am extremely happy with how this guy turned out, despite all my mistakes. I had fun making it, and I hope you enjoy coming along with me making it for the first time. I'm not going to speed any part of it up. I think at one point in the video I mentioned that I was going to speed it all up, speed some parts up, but I think I'm just going to let it play in real time. You guys can sew along with me, put me on in the background, whatever you want to do. The pattern is called the Necessary Clutch Wallet by Emmaline Bags, and I will have it linked down below. I am not going to give you any of the measurements in the pattern because if you want to make it, you need to go buy the pattern. I'm not going to take anything away from the designer of the pattern. I did not create the pattern, so it's not mine to give away for free. But yeah, so let's hop right on into it. And yeah, if you like this kind of video, like, subscribe. I plan on doing more sewing tutorials. My goal is still to do 1 video a week. I have not been very good at doing that, but I am going to continue to try. And that is all we can ask of ourselves, is just do our best and try. So yeah, like, subscribe, and let's just jump on into it. Okay, so we have all our pieces cut out here. Measurement is in the pattern, which will be linked below. Something you want to be mindful of is if you have directional fabric, that you cut it the right way. And even though this looks upside down, when you open the wallet, this will become the top. So you'll open the wallet like that. So just something to be mindful of. But let's get to sewing. Okay, first up is to build the flap. So I'm just lining it all up and clipping it. I am not using any interfacing with this wallet because of the material I'm using. It's pretty thick. It's waterproof canvas and then vinyl, so I don't think I'll need the interfacing. So we're just gonna get started. I'm gonna adjust my stitch length just slightly. There we go. Let's see if I can adjust you just a little bit better. There we go. Let's turn this light on. Okay. Seam allowance will be in the pattern as well. And I'm just going slow around the curves here. And then just going to cut my threads there. We're going to trim the threads at the front. And then I'm going to take my pinking shears here, and I'm just going to, around these curves, just trim the seam allowance just slightly, just to try and help it sit a little nicer. Okay. And then let's see. Okay. And then we are just going to flip this inside out. And I'm just trying to like roll the seams as best I can here. If you're using cotton fabric, you can press it with an iron, but I am not, so I'm not pressing it with an iron. And I'm just gonna take this little turning tool and push out the corner a little better. Oh, careful. I just poked through my fabric. This is just my first time making it, so it's gonna be for me. I'm kind of trying to stay away from licensed fabric now for products that I'm making to sell. So, but now we are just going to top stitch this. Top stitching is usually at 1/4 or 1/8 of an inch for most stuff, but I am increasing the stitch length here just because it makes it look a little nicer. Always remember to back stitch. And it's sounding like my bobbin might be running out soon, so hopefully we at least have enough to get through the top stitching. And I'm just using the edge of my presser foot as a guide to kind of help guide around the curves. Again, going real slow around the curves here. Okay. And then we're just gonna snip off the thread. And there we go. Top stitching on the front and top stitching on the back. And yes, I'm aware I have a white in the bobbin and black in the top. It really doesn't matter. The white kind of blends in a little bit more on this backside, and the black definitely blends in better on the top. So, but you could even get away with like a purple thread to match some of the colors in here. But that is it for that step. I will be attaching a magnetic snap with a rivet, the rivet magnetic snaps later. If you're using magnetic snaps that have the prongs on the back, you want to attach it to this before you sew it together. But since I'm doing the rivets, this is good. So we're just going to set that aside. And the next step is stitching together the main body pieces. So this is actually not being set aside. So one thing I did not do before starting is find my centers. And that is something you want to do. Just going to snip real tiny so see, you get the little triangle snipped out of there. You don't want to go too big because you don't want to see it, so you want to make sure it stays within the seam allowance. And I'm doing the same. Both of the materials I'm using today came from Fabric Therapy. I can leave a link to their website below. I bought it a couple years ago, so I don't know if these exact ones are available, but I will still leave a link to their website. And again, this is where you want to be careful if you've got directional fabric. Make sure everything's going the right way. I'm also going to find my center of my flap here. Because, and we place this lining side up here, and we're just lining it up and clipping it. Then it's nice and centered, and then again, just being careful that I've got it right side up. Now the pattern does say to leave a turning hole at the bottom here. I'm not going to do that. I have seen many other people who make this wallet cut a slit in the lining fabric, just in the center, because you won't see it anyways, and that is what is used as the turning hole. So that is how I am going to make it. Just a little hack. I guess it's a little easier to do it that way than to have to make sure that the sides line up properly. So before we get started, I'm going to should have done that before I clipped it, but I'm just gonna make a little snip in the center here. Just little, because we can make it a little bigger after we sew this together. So make sure everything is lined up. Okay. And again, seam allowances for all of this will be in the pattern, but I'm going to lower my stitch length. Okay. And we're going to backstitch. Going a little slower around the curves here just to keep everything nice and straight. And I'm probably going to keep this video in real time. There might be parts that I speed up, haven't decided yet. But as of right now, everything's going to be in real time. This is really my first, sewing tutorial or sew along. And over where the flap is, I'm going to backstitch. I don't know if that's necessary or not, because I've never made this wallet before, but that's what I'm doing. Definitely go as slow or as fast with your stitching as you're comfortable going. I'm definitely slowing down around my, bumped ya. Around my curves, just because I want them to look nice. Oh, I think I forgot a back stitch over the other side of the flap. Oh well. And we're back at the beginning, and I always just overlap just a little bit, especially when it's on the construction stitches. Just so that everything connects nicely. I think I'm gonna go just for a little bit of extra security on this side here. I'm gonna backstitch again over this flap. Again, probably overkill, but I don't want that flap coming undone. So and this is what we are left with. Let's see, we can take a little lighter here and just kind of burn our edges. Don't want to do too much, but it just helps kind of seal in the thread. Okay. Now I'm going to take my fabric scissors, because these are nice and sharp, and we're just going to go in this hole we made, and I'm just going to make it slightly bigger. And like I said, oh, let's not cut our flap. Oh, did I cut it? I don't think I did. I almost cut the flap. Okay. This, I have a feeling, is going to be a little difficult to churn. So I think I might have to. I'm going to put some tape over where I cut. I'm not so worried about this material like fraying or anything. Okay, if you're a beginner, definitely think about your fabric, your materials that you're using, because that was not the easiest thing in the world to turn. I think we've got it. Okay. Just sticking my hand in the hole here. And it did get a little bigger because I was pulling at it, but that's okay. Like I said, you will not see the hole in the end. It will be covered. Just kind of trying to roll out my seams so they all look nice. Make sure they're all pushed out all the way. Okay, I'm going to take this little tool and just kind of go along. Make sure it's all sitting nicely. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I believe we top stitch. Oh, you know what I did not add on to this? A label. That's okay. I'm not selling this one anyways. This is going to be for me. Okay. I think I'm going to start the top stitch up here. And actually, let's check our bobbin real quick. Okay, we're good. We are good for now. Okay. I'm gonna pull up my bobbin again, and I'm gonna leave long tails because on this top stitching, I'm not gonna back stitch. I'm gonna pull the thread through, which is also part of why I'm starting kind of in the back where it's a little bit more hidden. And we're gonna lengthen our stitch length. I'm doing it at 4 millimeters. Okay. Kind of folding the material over here. Again, going slow around these curves to make sure they stay nice and curved. Using my foot as the guide. We got a little wonky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull on this thread here. And I don't know if you can see, but it pulls up a little loop right here from the other side. And so what I'm going to do is I just take my snips and I make sure they're closed. And we just stick them in there and pull up. And then I'm going to tie a little knot. And I try and keep it nice and tight here. And I do a couple, just to make sure. Okay, and we're just going to continue top stitching here. Doing your best to keep everything nice and straight. Okay, we're gonna try and move you a little bit. Let's try. Okay. And we're just going to go all the way around. I go just a little bit past where I started. I try and do like 1 or 2 stitches past where I started. Pull the strings nice and long. Because again, pulling it through. And you always want to do this part on the inside where you won't see it as often or see it as well. But this just gives a cleaner finish on the other side. So there's no like back stitching marks or anything. And going to take my lighter and I'm just gonna kind of lightly go over these frayed spots from where we turned it. And then I'm going to just take some double-sided tape here. Again, you won't see this. I am just kind of sealing it up a little bit so that it's a little bit more protected, I guess. Okay, that'll just help keep those edges sealed. And so, I mean, we can kind of fold this up and imagine what it's gonna look like. So this is kind of what it'll look like. Okay, let's move on to the next step, which is the card slot. So I need to grab a ruler. Hang on just a moment. Okay, so off camera, I added the lines per the pattern. I just didn't want to do anything that's going to give away measurements. I don't want to take anything away from the creator of the pattern. So I did not list any, I didn't do any of this on camera just because I didn't want to give away the measurements. So now we are going to fold it. So it says flip the rectangle over so that it is now right side up and start folding on the first line from the left. Press with your iron as you go, alternating direction of folds. Okay. So basically, I think we are going to fold it this way and then fold along this line. And I'm going to put clips here because this is not a material that I can really iron, so I'm just gonna have to finger press it really well, and I'm gonna put the clips there to kind of help me hold it in place for a moment anyways. Actually, let's put the clips here like this. Okay, and then a trick that I have found when making card slots is to actually take a card and just kind of press it along the line And as long as the edges are lining up right, your measurement should, in theory, be correct. Okay. Just moving my clips here. And again, just finger pressing it really well. Just trying to eyeball it, make sure it stays nice and even. Trying to fold it right on my lines and then pressing. And then take the card here, line it up. And if you have something that goes across the entire line, that would be even better. I'm just using what I have on hand at the moment. I'm keeping my clips on here, and I mean, everything's looking nice and even, but this is what is creating our card slots. The cards will slide in like that. So then we take this and fold on this side. You're basically like accordion folding it. Folding it one way and then folding it back the other way. Okay, and then we're gonna take my card here, line it up. I don't know if you can, I hope you can see what I'm doing. And you can even like move it along if need be. Okay. And that is what we are left with for our first set of card slots. This is what it looks like from the back. And I think we are going to adjust this side ever so slightly. Okay, I'm going to do the other one off camera, and then we'll be back to show you the next step. Okay, so now that that's done, we are just going to baste along the sides here. Just see, where am I? Okay. We are just going to baste along the sides here to hold all of this in place. Oh, and I forgot to increase my stitch length again. I'm really bad at that. Or I'm sorry, decrease. Which it doesn't, I suppose it doesn't really matter because this is just a basting anyways, not a construction stitch. But when you're doing the construction of your bags or whatever you're making, you really want about 2.5. Okay. Again, just using my foot to line it up with. Holding my threads when I start so they don't bird's nest underneath. And just basting right along. And I'm going to do that to the other one as well. let's just look here. Okay, so we're gonna base this side and then we're gonna trim it down so it's the measurement in the pattern. I think this side's a little crookedy. That's okay, we'll make do. Okay, and this is what we are working with now. So I'm going to go ahead and get these trimmed according to the pattern, and then we will be back. Well, let's see. Yeah. So I will be back after I trim these to the size according to the pattern, and we'll do the next step. Okay, now we're going to take our card slots, and we are going to make sure that they are right sides together. And you're lining up the tops and the bottoms. So pin across the bottom, and we are going to sew across the bottom. Again, seam allowances in the pattern. Back stitching at the beginning and the end. I always try and snip my threads as close as possible to the project. Okay, now this is what we've got, and let's see. It says to open this seam. Let's see, and just kind of press it. I don't have any of my 1/8 inch double stick tape, otherwise I would kind of tape this down. Because this is waterproof canvas, you don't want to iron it. I mean, you could probably get away with ironing the front side, I haven't tried. But definitely not the backside. Okay. I am just folding this in half along the seam to kind of find my midpoint. Okay, because we are going to stitch right down the middle. Okay, actually, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get a ruler and mark it because I don't want to mess it up. So I'll be right back. Okay. Now we are going to just stitch down the middle, and I am back stitching at the beginning of the end. And I have my thumb kind of pressing down on the seam here so it stays open. But just all the way down. Okay. Well, I guess I did not catch the seam correctly. That's okay. I probably should have taped it, but that is okay. Okay, we are just going to, I'm just cutting it a little bit on each side so it can lay flat. Okay, next step is I think we take this piece. Yeah, it looks like the right piece. Okay. We are going to put these right sides together and clip. My folding did get a little wonky, so it's not gonna fit perfectly on all sides, but it is all within the seam allowance, so it should be okay. And we are going to stitch across the top and the bottom here. Again, we're back stitching at the beginning and the end. Can you see what I'm doing? Yeah, you can. Okay. Cool. We ran out of bobbin right at the beginning. Oh, I was afraid that was going to happen. Okay. I am going to wind a bobbin and then I'll be back. Okay. Now that we got the bobbin situation figured out, I keep putting my scissors in a different place every time. Kind of annoying. Because then I go to the place they're supposed to be, and they're not there. Okay. Then we're gonna sew this side. I put a black bobbin in this time, just because that's the color thread I am using. Snip my threads. Take off my clips. By the way, I love these clips rather than pins because I'm not poking myself all the time. And we're just flipping this right side out. And I'm kind of rolling the seams. I'm going to put some clips there. Okay. This side, again, just kind of rolling the seams so everything lays nice and flat. And I'm starting with clipping the top. Okay, then we are going to, I am just separating the seam there so it lays nice and flat. I'm going to do the same on this side, since I didn't do it right when I put it together initially. And now we're just going to top stitch around all 4 edges. And I am going to backstitch at the beginning and the end, but I'm going to increase my stitch length a little bit. Okay. When you get to a corner, you want to make sure that your needle is down but has started to come up, and just pivot. And I went a little too far. That's okay. 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 I took that clip off that was holding the seam open, but I'm just holding my fingers there and hoping that I caught it, and which I think I did, because it still feels nice and flat. But just going around the edges here. And again, you can go as slow or as fast as you're comfortable going. I do sew on an industrial machine. I also have just a domestic brother sewing and embroidery machine that I sew on too, but this material definitely better for my industrial. You just got to know your machine and what it can handle. Different machines can handle different things. My industrial is a Sailrite fabricator, and I absolutely love it. So this is what we are working with now. It's all sewn together. And now, next step is to get the zipper ready, which I think I'm going to see if I have a stitch zipper pull, which I believe I do. I have a stitch pulls in 2 different finishes. And this is, I'm going to go with the gunmetal color. And this is going to be my zipper tape. Let me look in the pattern for the measurement of the zipper, because I did not cut that yet. Okay, got it. Again, I am not sharing measurements. If you want to know what the measurements are, you will need to buy the pattern. But I just cut my zipper tape. And zipper tape does tend to fray. So you want to just kind of burn the edges a little bit with a lighter. And let's see if I can show you this. The way I have found it easiest to do a zipper is just to open it up just slightly. And I just kind of put both ends in. Like so. And I kind of just push it on there with my fingers. And then put it down and hold both sides and pull it on. So, putting zipper pulls onto zippers definitely does take some practice, but okay. Now we need our little zipper tabs. These are teeny tiny little pieces here. Mine are gonna have to go this way. Although, actually, it should be okay. We're just gonna center it because that should be hidden in the seam allowance. So I'm just using a wider zipper tape is all. I think what they use in the pattern is a number 3 zipper. And I am using a number 5 zipper just because that's what I prefer. Okay. Well, not necessarily even prefer. I wanted to use my stitch zipper pull. But basically, we are just getting it sewn on there. And then we are going to top stitch this. Okay. So I know this looks a little funny right now, but it's for me. So I didn't really feel like recutting the pieces here, so I decided to just go with it. But I am just making sure that they are lined up straight here with each other and the zipper. Okay. Putting one clip on it just to kind of help hold it in place while I get it over here. And just sewing across. Because you are sewing over the zipper tape, you want to go slow. And you want to make sure you're using a nylon zipper tape. You don't want to sew over metal. That will break your needle. But just go slow. You'll be fine. You do kind of have to help push it a little bit harder to get it to go through, to help the feed dogs feed it through with the zipper. But you'll get it. Okay. Again, just top stitching here. And then we are going to take one of our linings and one of our outer pockets, making sure everything's up the way it's supposed to be. And just attaching this like this. And then, so I have my lining side right side up and my zipper right side up. And I just put a few clips on to kind of hold that in place. And then we are going to take our pocket here, making sure that we're paying attention to our directional fabric. And I'm lining up the two pieces, the lining and the outer. And then just putting a couple clips on there and then readjusting the clips I had initially put on there, just to really make sure it's all sandwiched in there nicely. Okay. I don't have a zipper foot for this machine, but it hasn't been an issue in the past. So we are just going to sew along here. And once I get close to the zipper, I'm going to stop with my needle down, lift up my fabric here, and I'm just going to pull the zipper out of the way. Otherwise it'll bubble and make it look funny. And back stitch at the beginning and the end. Trim off our threads here. Okay. Next we are going to top stitch this. I don't know that I absolutely love this material just because of how stiff it is, but at the same time, because of how stiff it is, it does crease nicely. I just put clips on the sides here to hold it in place while I top stitch, and changing my stitch length here. I like to change my stitch length when I top stitch just because it makes it look a little nicer and prettier. It is definitely not necessary, but I just use my narrow foot here as my guide. As I get closer to the zipper, I'm going to stop with my needle down and just open my zipper. Oh, battery died, so I had to change that. But you didn't miss anything. I just top stitched this. And let me see here, because I think I'm a little confused. Okay. Nope, I got it. We are going to take our second lining piece here, and we are going to place this face up like so. I'm going to trim my threads before I forget. When I'm lining stuff up, I tend to prefer to flip it upside down just so I can make sure I line it up properly. And I'll put a clip on each end, just because it's easier for me to see the edges that way and make sure that they're lined up correctly on the edges. It's not as important that, well, no, I don't know what I was going to say. Scratch that. When I can see the bottom, like this piece is longer than this piece, that works out nicely for me to line it up because I can see all the edges easier. But when I'm lining up the backside like that, it is easier to flip it upside down. Again, seam allowance is given in the pattern. I know I've said that a lot, but oh, we came unthreaded. Okay. Well, that's not going to do us any good if the thread's not in the needle. Okay. Hold my threads, back stitch, okay, I'm getting close to the zipper, so I'm going to put my needle down and just move my zipper out of the way. It just helps everything lay nicer together. If he's left the zipper pull there, it would create like a bubble. And nobody wants that. Okay. Clipping threads here, and then folding back the material. To top stitch. Okay. I prefer to start on the end that doesn't have the zipper pull so that it can be closed when I start my top stitch. Just the way I prefer to do it. No right or wrong way there, just preference. Again, getting close, opening. Oh wait, I don't know if I was supposed to... Well, I guess we're gonna see how this works because I don't think I was actually supposed to top stitch that part. Okay, well, oh well, it's a little too late. It might not matter, I don't know. Okay, I'm going to pin all this together, and I pinch the zipper so it's going into the pocket. And so I kind of start at those corners. Make sure your zipper is open. And I am just clipping all the way around here, lining everything up as best I can. Okay. We are going to start on one side of the pocket here, go all the way down, across, up, and down the other side. We are going to leave this opening here at the bottom. Sew it at the seam allowance given in the pattern, back stitching at the beginning and the end. And this is going to get a little thick here. Just take your time, go slow. I did back stitch over that zipper just for a little extra security. Gonna get to the corner here and we're gonna pivot. Hang on. Okay, this is a little bit weird for me because when we flip this right side out, we are not actually closing the zipper lining yet, or the pocket lining yet. Okay. I'm going to pull the zipper just so it's not right on the edge. Okay. Okay. Got a little stuck there, but we got it. Oh, shoot. All right, we're just gonna make do and see how it turns out. Okay. I am just sorry, I forgot to do that in frame here. Just turning this right side out. I'm going to clip my threads. Okay, so this kind of got a little messed up here. That's okay. Again, it is just for me. Like the zipper ends, I don't know, I must have done something wrong with the zipper tabs. Where did my little turning tool go? There it is. I'm just going to gently poke out the corners. Oh my gosh, I did it again. This is only the first time I've made this pattern, so we're kind of learning together. So mistakes will be made. And you know what? That is okay. We are just top stitching along the bottom here. Okay, so this is our zipper pocket and it ends like in over here-ish. So I will have to figure that part out because I obviously did something wrong with the zipper tabs, but that is okay. So now we are going to take our card slots and our main body piece, and we are going to put this in. It should pretty much line up with the top stitching and the flap. Okay. And then we are going to fold this side in all the way and clip. I have some thread sticking out here. Okay. Then here. Clip. And we're just going to stitch across at the seam allowance given in the pattern. Okay. This material is quite thick. So again, just make sure you know your machine and know what materials it can handle. Just going to clip our threads here. I am still at a 4mm stitch length. I don't know if that's too big or too the right size. I don't know. But that is what we're doing this as because I forgot to change it. Looks like we caught everything, which is what we want. Now we are going to open this up and take our zipper pocket, and I'm going to have it closing to the left, and it fits nicely in there, if you can see that. Let me see here. I am going to fold this in half to find the center, and then center that on the line. And then we are going to measure using a heat erasable pen. Draw a line here, and then draw a line here. Two. Okay. Nope, we're gonna go another stitch this way, rotate it. Snip this. Okay, well, my stitching got a little wonky here. That's okay. Again, this is for me, just because I'm not selling really licensed fabric, just because I don't want to deal with that headache if they were to sue me. So from this corner to from here to here. We are going to okay. Oh, sorry, I'm not on camera. But we are just kind of pinching the sides up like this. Let's see. And then here, let's move this to the center. Same thing here. Kind of just sandwiching it all together. Shoot. But this is kind of what it is supposed to look like. There's what the signs will look like. And I am going to finish these off with rivets. I do not want to try and fight with my machine to get in these tight little curves. And I'm going to be using rivets on the sides anyway, or for the closure anyways. So why not get my rivet press out a little bit early? But yeah, that is what it looks like. And again, this was my very first time making this pattern ever. So mistakes were definitely made. But overall, I am really happy with it. And I mean, there's the bottom. And I think this will be my new wallet because it is adorable. And who cares if it's not absolutely perfect? This is the first time I made it. So yeah, if you like this kind of content, if you want to see more, if you have a pattern you would like me to see me try, let me know down in the comments below. And go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye.